team culture was a really big part of why I came on my visit. Like, I was just laughing the entire time. It was just great. Walked into the coach's office, felt like I was good friends with the guy, and just felt like that for the whole 4 years. Now that's why I tacked on for 5.
Coming into the team, I saw a group of guys that all wanted something bigger and better, and we all kind of knew what that was going to take, and the team's culture just kind of clicked with me right away.
As an individual and running, I mean, I truly feel like I'm getting better every year, and I have teammates who are there to support me and help me chase my dreams, both like academically but also athletically, and get to a point in running where I can be as successful as I can be.
Follow your dream! Follow it!
A lot of it was the culture, and I came on my visit and I was kind of sold on this idea of like being the giant killers. Like, we're this small team that's not very good yet, but we have big aspirations of taking down like these giant teams.
The team culture was a big thing for me. On my visit, everyone was super chill, and I felt like it was a really good group of guys.
We're like the Island Misfit toys. Like, you know, Felipe is so good at recruiting guys that just no one else would see, or a lot of kids that are overlooked that just have a boatload of talent. And I'm just like, oh crap, like we can really do something with this.
I think the biggest like defining part of our team culture is our houses. Just the fact that like when I came on my visit, the first thing I was showed was the houses, and we have 2 houses that are like in a cul-de-sac of 10 houses, and we have 2 of them.
And just in case our landlord sees this, we have 14 guys in 2 houses, and those other 4 just come over for play-dates.
Yeah, and sometimes sleep over, but that's allowed. When you're surrounded by 8 of your teammates, and then you walk across the street and you're surrounded by 9 more, like it just like you get really close, and if you have a common goal, like you gotta like ride or die for that goal, which is kind of how we feel.
You know, we have 32 guys on our team right now that want to go to nationals more than anything, and you know, I really think that we can be there. Like, I think that we can get our first team to nationals soon, like next few years soon.
Joey Barriatua got this team to hold itself to a much higher standard than it was used to. And that took changing individual people's attitudes, and so sometimes that meant investing in the people that cared and just really riding those people so he knew that he could lead the team in a good place. Like, I remember our freshman years, me and Jack like both broke freshman records, and Joey was like kind of nonplussed by it, and that's when we kind of realized like this team is nowhere near where it's about to be. Mm-hmm. And honestly, it's followed that trajectory ever since.
My freshman year, Joey always forced me to go to steeple practice with him, and he would always like, it would give him about 20 minutes to preach the way to like run to me, and it was always talking about how like his sophomore year he came in, decided like I just want to be good, and he talked to Felipe, who's our head coach, and just started running more and training harder and like doing everything that now has become a lot more normal on our team, which wasn't as much back then, and just like preaching that to me while forcing me to wake up like 45 minutes earlier than everyone else. Definitely got it, and he's been a really good leader towards our team, and like even post graduate and him being a pro runner now, he's like come back and given some good words to us.
I met him about like a few weeks ago, and one of the first things he said to me is like, oh, welcome to our family. And so kind of like him still being a leader in a way, like on this team, in this family, has really been a really cool thing to see. And like I would have never known that like the team kind of came up from nothing going in.
My junior year, I ran 14 flat for 5K, 345 for 15. And honestly, I don't think Joey he was happy, but I don't think he was that surprised because he knew we could do it. Like, there's just never a doubt. You know, you're here at practice every day anyway. You know, you're going to do these hours anyway if you're on the team. Why not just give it all you can?
Joey Barriatua, class of 2018, Santa Clara University cross country and track. Boy, when I came in, we were like one of like the 3 worst teams in the conference for cross country, and it just didn't seem like there was any hopes of getting better. I came in just because Coach Montoro believed in me and knew he was willing to take a chance on me, and because of that, I was willing to take a chance on him in the program. And kind of the idea was to make an impact early on and just leave it better than I found it. Throughout the years, I just kind of, stuck under the wing of a couple of the upperclassmen that, wanted to be good. They were willing to make sacrifices in order to make Santa Clara cross country great. And then once they left, I kind of took the reins from there and just rolled with it. Maybe I didn't make it to, the highest echelon of the NCAA, I was able to impart my wisdom or whatever whatever I had onto the younger guys. And so throughout the years, it seemed like I was a captain starting my sophomore year up until my 5th year. My sophomore year, I felt like I was the only one out there trying to do something great. And then throughout the years, I was able to get more guys under my wing, such as Jack and Xander, were guys that were willing to commit to the team. And then, from there, we actually started like getting really good recruits. So for example, Zach was like getting, he ran 9:10 at Arcadia, and all of a sudden was like, oh shit, like Colorado's recruiting Zach now, like we're gonna lose that kid, but he was like, nah, like I see what you guys are doing at Santa Clara, and like you guys are an up and coming team, and like I want to roll with that. And so you get more guys like that under your wing, and you're able to lead a program in the direction of like, we're not good, but we're gonna be good. It's like this like unwarranted cockiness that like we've been carrying for a couple years now, that's going to translate into a national caliber program, and ideally in 10 15 years a national championship type team. And I have no doubt in my mind that we're going to be able to do that. It's just about facilitating those environments. And so once I left, it was, I guess Felipe's big question mark was like, okay, who's going to take over now, just because I had essentially been in charge for 4 years. And that's where these guys had stepped up, and then the younger guys went under their wing. Like I said, one guy can't lead it all. It's going to take a lot of guys who are going to be able to buy into this. And so it's funny now, I ask about like the parties that they're having like during the season, like, yeah, we don't really do that anymore. And it's just like, that feels so good. It's like knowing that these guys are like actually committing themselves and throwing themselves in the fire of being a great NCAA team. I mean, our school records when I showed up my freshman year were just so bad in the grand scheme of things, So when I came in, my track season as a freshman, I broke the school record within like 4 races. I ran 3:49 for the 1500. Like, that's your school record. Like, you're just not going to be competing at the end of the day. And our 5K school record was at the time like I think it was like 14:29. So this is like, freshmen on good teams are like blowing that time out of the water. And our steeplechase school record was like 9:06. So I think like by the time I was a sophomore, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna go and break every single school record that we have. And I essentially did, except for like the 800 and the 10K, which I didn't really. I ran one 10K and I was 3rd all time in the 800. But essentially it was just like, we have to get good on paper if we're gonna start getting good recruits. Like, we can talk about culture all we want, but at the end of the day, like, like if we're not a good team, like we're not gonna like get these next like caliber of recruits. And so kind of as time went on and I started running faster and faster, we're starting to get more and more guys to run faster. And by the time I was a 5th year, I had like I said, I had every school record except for the 800 and the 10K, which still wasn't saying much. Like, I left the school record at 3:49. Like, I ran 0.2 of a second faster. But I dropped the 3K and the 5K school records pretty significantly. And I knew, like, that whole 5th year, like, I knew, like, the second I get out of here, like, these guys that are younger than me are just going to blow my times out of the water. Because at the end of the day, in the grand scheme of things, those aren't good school records either. Like, a 14:13 5K, like, it should be in the 13:40s, Like, a steeplechase school record should be in the 8:40s or the high 8:30s, A 1500 should be in the low 340s. That's like what a good Division I program is going to be able to do. The goal was, when I left, was that these guys were going to bring those school records down and show that, like, oh shit, like Santa Clara is like a pretty good program. They've had some pretty good runners. And it's funny, like when I came in my freshman year, like if you were fighting for like a regional spot, like you were the best runner. And I definitely wanted to change that culture where it was like, if you're not making regionals, like you're not doing well, like that's what I wanted the mentality to be. And, I had to qualify for regionals to do that, even though like I performed like shit. I performed like shit at regionals. I knew that like the next group of guys, so, Jack and Zach, were going to compete at regionals the next year, and they were going to actually compete, like Zach was like 3 spots off of competing for nationals in the steeplechase, and Jack was, like 5 or 10 seconds off in the 5K from like getting a spot at NCAAs. And like that's like absolutely unheard of, like if you were at Santa Clara my freshman year, and I know the next line of guys, like, the younger guys, like those are the guys that are going to be like, let's say like 1 or 2 spots away, or like actually qualifying for nationals. And it means like Zach's still like 12, so like he's still got like 3 or 4 more years to do it, so like he may be the first guy to actually qualify for nationals. Like, we don't know, but I think everybody's on board with this idea of like they're going to leave the program better than they found it, and that the guys that are coming in after them, whatever school records they set, are just going to be beat the next year. So like I knew very well, like 1500 gone, like Zach ran like 906 as a freshman. I was like, yeah, throw my steeplechase school record away. 1413 5K, that's garbage. Like Jack beat it the next year, So like, and I expect that they think the same thing, It's like their school records are going to fall because they are now doing what I did, in which they are facilitating an environment in which like what we're doing right now isn't good enough, so we have to be better. And so it's just like I said, it's just growing and growing and growing to this mentality of just like, if we're not good, then what are we doing? We have to make a change. At the end of the day, what I'm saying is Santa Clara is going to be a nationally competitive program. So if these guys aren't going to do it, it's going to be the next generation of guys. So just look out for them because they're going to be good, and I can't wait to be at a bar at 8 a.m. Wherever I am with all these guys watching Santa Clara win a national championship in cross country, and then watching potentially an individual champion like Zach. Like, he's going to be the 2022 champion, like NCAA champion in the steeplechase. You heard it here first, so watch out for these boys. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And go Broncos.
Shout out to all of our team. They're all amazing. Like, we talk about team culture. Like, even though we're the ones you guys are stuck watching in this video, they're the ones that make it happen.
If you like the video, please like, comment, and subscribe below.
And do it for the kids.
Do it for the kids. And yeah, Santa Clara signing off.